Alright, what you see here is a Casablanca Delta 2 ceiling fan. It is in the polished brass finish with a 4 or 5 blade flywheel, and it also has a K4S. Now, I got this fan because I've been looking for one in this combination for the longest time. Polished brass with 4 or 5 blade flywheel with oak blades and a K4S. Now, the shades you see on it are not original to the fan. When I picked it up, it had the same type of shades, except it didn't have the gold ring on the end of them. I still have those shades, but I found these at a restore, the one that We Fire 88 volunteers at. And I figured these would look a lot nicer on this fan than the ones that came with them. Just to give it a little bit more of a 90s look and such. But yeah, this fan is from November 26, 1993. And it is the 467th fan made that day. Now, I've been trying to find one like this for a while. I already have a 4-blade only one that I filmed a while back, but I've always been wanting to find a 4 or 5-blade version. I mean, I prefer to have a 4 or 5-blade Delta 2 in general versus there's a 4-blade only one, but it's cool to have a 4-blade only one as well, in my opinion. As you don't see those that often. It has oak blades, or a better way to call them is antique oak to be more specific. I gotta say, the fan is in really good shape for its age. I got it for dirt cheap for like $20, which is a steal for one of these, considering that it came with the K4S as well. It wasn't too far away from me, but it's a little bit further than I expected, considering the town that it was in. I thought it was a little bit close by, but it was like really deep into the city. It wasn't like right on the outskirts. But yeah, it has this hangs true. It came with a recall clip, which I found interesting. But it was around the time that they started having a lot of recall hang throughs at the time and such. Or that was like when they started to like really implement the recall clips and such. Yeah, there's the tag. But yeah, no, the fan is in really nice shape. It's something I can see like in a restaurant of some sort, or like a rest stop. Like I don't know, there's like so many like restaurants or like cafeterias I can see these in. And such breakfast places, kitchens, living rooms, salad bar type restaurants, or like in hotel lobbies. There's just so many places I can see these in this exact combination. So let me go ahead and show off the light. I think see it does work. It has the original Casablanca pose that came with the fan. I'm using these 4 clear LED light bulbs. I figured since it had the clear shades, it'd be best to show it with clear LED bulbs instead of the plastic looking ones. Or the plastic ones, that is. They have the plastic ones that are clear as well, but I figured these would look a lot nicer on it. And I gotta say, this fan really looks stunning with this setup and such. Like, this is a combination I have it in. I mean, I was looking to find one just of a 4 or 5-blade flywheel and didn't make it look like this, but the fact that this fan was basically already the way that I wanted it made it even more worth getting, in my opinion. Alright, let me shut off the lighting behind me and do a lighting test. To no surprise, it definitely does a great job lighting up the space. I mean, it has 4 light bulbs in it, so it's not a surprise there. And if it being clear shades, that really helps light up the space even more. It's not really dimming the light output. Alright, let's start off on no. This fan had a bit of a wobble in the beginning, but I realized that one of the blade arms was not, the blades, some of them are a tiny bit warped, I'd say, but one of them was bent out of alignment, more so, not that it was like bent up or downwards, it was more so bent sideways, and that was not too much, but At first I didn't even notice it really, but then I noticed as it was spinning on low. I noticed there was a bit of a gap between one of the blades, and I noticed that it was because of that blade on being bent sideways. So it definitely seems to have been hit at some point while it was running back when it was installed in the original location and such. I'm not sure where they had it installed, either a living room or a kitchen, maybe a bedroom, I'm not sure. Spin down's not too long on this one, so I'm guessing it might have not been used all that much, or more so, it hasn't been used all that much recently. But it had a lot of surface dust on it when I first picked it up, so there is that. And I really just love how this fan looks all together. Something I can see like in a summer home or some sort, or like a lake house, camper type home of some sort. Something I think would have looked really nice in my grandmother's kitchen at the old house she had. Where we had that Hampton Bay hugger. If it was more centered and the ceiling was high, I feel like this would have been the perfect fan for that room. Although maybe with walnut blades, I'm not sure, but or white oak blades, but I mean the cabinets had like a tannish, like an off-white center, and the bottom and the trim was like an oak finish. I feel like this would have worked perfect either way. And I do plan to show it with the 4-way configuration, so for those who want to see the 4-way configuration, don't worry, I will show it like that. So I figure I should start off with the 5-way configuration. Has a nice low speed to it. It is using the K4S motor. It is from 1993, so that was back when these Casablanca were still using the K4S before they changed over to XLP around 97. Flyway I feel couldn't use a bit of a cleaning. It just looks a bit gray. It's not so black and such, but it's not really a big deal. Just seeing how this fan looks with the light on, especially running on low, looks like something you see like in an old Casablanca cat commercial of some sort, or like in a catalog picture. Yeah, this scene is like definitely a restaurant look, having it on a low speed with the lights on. At some point I will show it without the light, with just a regular switch cap, but I figured since there's so many videos of these with the switch cap on, I figured maybe just show it without that for the time being, and at some point in the future I'll show it with it. But I figured also since it has a K4S, maybe just show it with that. Because I feel that's more interesting looking than just showing it without it. Especially with how common these are. But don't worry, I will show it without the light at some point. Alright, now for medium. Yeah, now at first I was kind of surprised seeing how much it wobbled before I fixed the blade arm. Still has a little bit of a wobble on medium, but not near as bad as how it was before. And I was looking at the blades, and I was like, the blade alignment, I'm like, it can't be the blades being warped. I think it has to be something else. And then I noticed that there was a bit of a gap in between a blade, like the spacing of them, and that's how I noticed that one of the blade arms was bent in the sense that something hit it, so it was a bit off kiltered and such. Instead of it like being straight, it kind of went sideways a bit, the blade. One thing I just feel is really nice with the Casablanca fans is just how quiet they are. I'm not, unless you have one that's a bit noisy due to like a hum or something like that, or if like it, or something that causes it to make noise, and that's a different thing. But when you have one that's dead silent, it is really relaxing to hear the wind sound and such. Okay, just the tag water fan spinning. Close before I forget. Like in person, it looks really nice. Like on camera, it's kind of the camera really doesn't do it justice on how nice this fan looks with the light on, especially with those clear bulbs. It really reminds me of the carriage house too. Back when I had some in the living room when I first got it, it had just the clear incandescent bulbs. Then over time, we ended up getting the non-clear ones because we didn't have any of the clear ones in that size. So then use those intermediate base size bulbs and such. So yeah, and I know there's been somebody asking me to do a video of it for a little while now. I plan to get a video of it, just so many other ones I gotta get out of the way first. And I also need to get the parts for it and such, so that will take a bit of time. It definitely has a really nice medium speed to it. It's moving air, but it's not like an overbearing medium where it feels like a high speed. Alright, and now for high. This is where it really kicks off. And it has basically no wobble to it at all, which is something that's really nice to see on a Casablanca fan when it's running on high speed and you don't see it wobbling at all. This might be like one of the only ones I think I've tested down here that doesn't have a wobble to it on the high speed. Unless it was like, I think the Lady Delta didn't wobble, the bright and brass one. Not the bright brass one, the polished brass one. I'm pretty sure the Delta 2s I've tested, all the other ones I've tested down here so far had a wobble to them and such. That I can remember. I know there has been at least some other Casablanca fan I've tested down here that didn't wobble at all. It might have been the Palisades or um, I don't think it was any of the stealths. I know, as you know, it might have been one of the stealths, but it was more sort of flywheel that was wobbling. But it actually might have been the pretty sure it might have been the black stealth that I have, the black one with the confident touch control. Maybe it was a champagne altitude out of all of them that didn't wobble. I know that the brush nickel Delta 3, I've now figured out that one's actually a Delta 3, not a Delta 2 and brush nickel. That one definitely, I know, didn't. That one I already know that it wobbled and such based on memory. Yeah, I can't think of which other Casablanca I've tested down here that didn't wobble on high speed. Actually, I think it might have been the brown Delta. That might have been the one that didn't. I can remember for a fact it didn't wobble. And to no surprise, it's moving at a great amount of air. Alright, now show off the white. It actually might not be a bad combination. Just seeing the Delta 2 like this, I actually might have to try this combination with the weighty Delta. Just to have a miniature version of this one, basically. Although it would have the pencil brackets, so it won't look as identical. But I probably would rather try that with 42-inch blades span on it, not the 36-inch one. But honestly, I mean, there's so many other fans I really need to test, so if that's like something that's really down the road, if I ever get around to doing it. Like, the fact that this one doesn't wobble at all, it's definitely one that I would install whenever I get my own place. Most likely a kitchen install, and if not, maybe like a breakfast table install, or like a dining room table one. More so like something with like a round table of sorts I would install it above. You know, it definitely flies on a high speed. Alright, spin down, then I'll show it on reverse. Yeah, I notice a lot of the fans, when it comes to like going up closer and then coming back after I show it with or without the light, tends to have trouble refocusing. Just something I've noticed. Like it'll take like a few seconds or so, and then I'll end up refocusing. No, as much as I'd love to see this with gloss oak blades from like the 90s era, I already know that if I was to install it, I probably wouldn't do it like that, only for the fact that the blades would be a lot more likely to warp and such. I mean, who knows? If anything, I'd be open to it. I feel like the glossy oak blades would look a lot nicer on like an antique brass one versus the polished brass one. That's just my personal opinion, though. I feel like it has a nice contrast between the two, whereas if this one's already shiny looking, I don't know. I think it also depends on the look of the fan too. If it has like a more of a contemporary look, I feel like the glossy oak blades on the polished brass fan looks nice, like with the Hunter Infinity, for an example. But if it was like a darker set of oak blades, like dark walnut with gloss, I feel like that would look really nice. I don't know. This is not. It's not something I've seen so much as a kid. I mean, I've seen it, but it's just not as often. I've seen polished brass with gloss oak blades on like a traditional looking fan. And if I did, it's usually something that's more cheaper end. So I feel like for that reason as well, I'd rather have it without glossy blades on something like this. I don't think it would look bad. Just I don't know. I do have to see it in person to see how much I'd like it. And I do got a sort of point tipped ones from the '80s, so I can always try that on it if I really wanted to. Now for medium. Trying to wobble on reverse, but so it's like it's one of those fans that will wobble less on reverse and more on forward. Not even on forward, it barely wobbled at all on medium. All right, now for high. And even on reverse, on high, it doesn't wobble either. Which actually, no, it actually does have a very slight wobble, but it's barely noticeable. I'm really thinking of like trying to get one of these antique brass. Not the one that I already have, like another one, antique brass, and put a K4 on it, and put those like the buckhead bow hunter blades on it for my dad. Because I feel like if he's gonna have something like that in his room at his new house, I might as well be on a fan that actually will make it go fast and have a good amount of air and such. I've seen some people do it with some Panamas or Deltas where they put leaf looking blades on them, and they actually don't look that bad. Like they actually look nice on them, I think. One thing is not having a deer footprint vents on them. The deer, or more so the deer hoof print on them. I feel like my dad would get over it as long as he had like the blades on them and such. That's really what I feel like would matter the most to him, is, if anything. Might be actually something I'd have to try with the one I have. Whenever I get around to retesting it, trying those blades on it and see how it performs with them. Alright. And, yeah. So yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.